guys, welcome to the next module which mainly focuses on product. So rather than I calling product, I would be seeing it as an implementation of your solution, implementation of your brainstorming ideas, and you have gotten a good idea, you have evaluated your market, you have evaluated your user persona, and you must have been really waiting to implement that solution. So in this module, we'll cover the concept of MVP, minimum viable product. We'll also see how to implement MVP in the quickest way possible. Maybe we can have a time cap of like 72 hours. And then we'll also look into some of the famous MVPs as case studies. And then we'll also talk about an interesting concept called cognitive bias. And at the final end, we'll look into a product teardown of a particular startup or a product. So with that, let's start the first video, which is MVP, which discusses about what is MVP. So this video is intended for those who have an idea and innovation, but not sure, how to get started on the implementation end. And also, this video is intended for those who have already spent a good amount of time in building the perfect product, but couldn't get the customers or couldn't establish that business value they intended. So mainly in this video, we'll cover these three topics. So we'll talk about the mistakes the founders make usually in building the product, and then we'll also discuss the MVP, and we'll also look at the actionable insights after learning about MVP and its importance. So usually this picture, right? It's a really a good analogy to to describe the startup or guy or founder mindset at the beginning. So he knows that I have picked a good problem, and he feels that I have also got a brilliant solution. But in order to present that solution or take the solution to the customers, so what exactly I need to build? So it's a state of mind where everyone feels I should need this, I should do this, I should provide this feature for my customer or user, I should seek this insights and also build this kind of an feature or a workflow for the user to make sure that the customer is very well aware of the product and he's happy with the product. But what's important, it's the purpose. Feed your purpose, not your feelings. So it is very important to stay humble and stay connected to the core problem or the core part where you feel the user needs a solution. So with that, I'm again stressing on this: feed your purpose, not your feelings. So generally, what are the mistakes the founders or the startups do while building a product is they kind of wait or iterate till the right product is built. They assemble the teams, they assemble the greatest developers and maybe product managers or business analysts or anyone, but they continuously wait till the right product is built. And with following that process, what happens is they really don't care about the user feedback at the initial, because you thought that this is something a problem, and to that problem you found a solution. Now you are waiting till the perfection of the product, but meanwhile a lot of things happens. Maybe a user might have found already another product, or the user might have like felt this is not a problem anymore to me. So it is very important to take the feedback of the user at very early stage of an idea or building a product. And in chasing the perfect product, in chasing to build the right product, people or the startups generally invest a lot of money and time. So I mean, after investing a lot of time and money, and when this product goes live to the customers, and the customer doesn't give a shit about this particular product or solution, right? And the feeling of what did I do? Where's my time and effort gone? It's all waste or something. What? So these kind of things usually happen. I mean, it happened to us, it happened to our startup also when we are working on another product line. So these things happen, but the main thing is, what are we learning from this and how are we progressing from this point? So that is very important. And what all these things do is, it kind of like misleads us and it doesn't show the right direction. So these are the common mistakes that the startup founders essentially fall into, the traps in search of building the right product. So this is the same feeling. This is the same feeling like you sending a very long message to your crush, and just your crush sends a one word text like okay. So exactly, I mean, you build a very exciting product, and when you go live, but the user is like, this is not something I'm looking. This is the exact feeling you will be. But you know what? The same customer again comes and says, this is a good product. This is something which I'm looking forward to. And this is a feeling you will be having. Same when your crush says you look today. So what are the things that you should do to change your feeling to this from this? So that is the main motive of this video, how to get this feeling. So let's understand with a couple of real case studies of how the very known companies that are right now in that are present right now, like Uber, take Dropbox, etc., are once a startups and once are someone who are facing or are in our situation. So let's take the example of Uber. Okay, so Uber back in the day, it is called Uber Cabs. Okay, so the main problem statement that they are trying to solve is making making or finding taxis easy. So at the time, the founder faced a similar situation, like I had felt a difficulty in finding taxis. So he thought, this is a major problem. Why can't I provide a solution for that? The simple solution he thought is like, I want to make sure that taxis are accessible, easily available, a one step or a one call away kind of a. So what exactly he has done is, so he didn't go for any fancy app that you're seeing right now in your app stores, or that you're showing in your app stores or web. So the current version is not the something which the founder has really started. So what the starter has done or the founder has done is, he has put up a web page. So he has put up a web page, simple information that you can access a cab very easily. That is where he wrote everyone's private driver, and you can sign up and you can create an account, and from then you can request a cab from anywhere based upon your location or the text or the message that you sent via your mobile, and then the cab will appear right in front of you. You can just sit on there, enjoy your ride, and then you can automatically get paid using your credit card. So this is what simply the founder has put up in the website. So, and one more interesting thing is, like, this is how the interface used to look at the time. Like, simply the user kind of like uses his location and finds the nearest cab, or he sends an text message to the cab driver, to the Uber service, and then this message is manually handled by the backend. In fact, the Uber founder has handled the Uber cab services manually. So that is what. So, and lot of times, you see in the website, we saw that he has given three core features. You can request from anywhere, enjoy your route, and then make a self-free payments. In fact, in the first version, there is no integration of payments involved. Okay, the basic thing he tested in his solution, or the way he presented his solution, is simply making sure that the customer is aware of what the solution is and how he is making the solution to be accessible. So simply the users sends actually a message to the founder, and the founder used to give them the permission or the access to the app. So then the users took the app, and they kind of like logged in with their email, and they requested for the cab via the location service or the message service. So simplest workflow is, the users request for cab using a SMS or text or specifying location, and the nearest cab is dispatched. Sometimes this process is also manually implemented. So this is an interesting exercise actually done by Uber. So what important lessons they got is, they got a good validation. People are looking for these kind of a solution, and that has given them a lot of confidence in building the next versions and focusing on different features, and also expanding the markets of there. So if we have to learn something from this exercise of Uber, The main things are they have identified the single and important, I would say, the extensive pain point, that is difficulty in finding taxes. Now they add a solution. Now how they have presented to the users, it's a simple basic product. So it's a simple product where a user can specify his location using a text message, or he can share the location to the service. Then what did Uber do? They didn't do any fancy algorithm things are done. They manually handled, and they manually handled several cab drivers to go to that solution. I mean, to go to the location of the customer. And then in this way, they entered the market, and then the user gave them the important feedback. And now here the user is both the things, the driver and the rider. So from both the point of views, they got a good user feedback, and that has really helped Uber in scaling up massively. Now, if you observe the workflow of the user, right, they kept it very simple and smooth. They focused on solving the problem instead of giving a lot of brilliant features or brilliant workflows. So they just simply gave a easy workflow or a customer journey where the user could again just request a cab and get it in front of him in few minutes. So this also helped them to test the solution in the lowest way possible, and the feedback really helped them in scaling and growing. So now let's come into Dropbox. This is very interesting. Okay, so Dropbox, if you generally see what does Dropbox is like, let's say I'm currently in a Windows OS. So maybe I get a Mac OS in some other time or in future. So maybe in simple things, I want all my files in Windows to be accessible in the OS also. So what's the possible solution? I know, I mean, when there was no Dropbox, is put a pen drive, extract all the data, and keep the pen drive in the new system and get all the data. So this was a tedious process, and every time you need to carry a pen drive. So simply Dropbox, what they did is, they kind of invented a software solution where you can access the same files either from your OS or either from your Mac OS, either from your Windows, or given any other operating system. So Dropbox is the starting step, which has led to the development of cloud storage and cloud data. So now, okay, so now we are talking about OSs. Now we are talking about the Mac, which is provided by Apple, which is again the Windows, which is a Microsoft product. Now, are these engineering teams really crazy? They went and talk, and they kind of got the access to got all of the file sharing systems and all. Not really. I mean, you this is like a very intensive software project. This is very intensive software project. Because they have to get all the access of the files, and they have to play with different OSs. So it is not a very simple software system. So now, how exactly they kind of told or reached the customers, saying this is our product, or this is something which is very interesting. So how they did, they just simply video. So he kind of pointed out kind of Dropbox is all about. He simply showcased how one can create an account in Dropbox, and how can one move the files from one OS to the Dropbox, and if they install the Dropbox application in another OS or system, and how could they access the same files. So please, it's a 3-minute video. I'm not playing it right now, but you will get access to this PPT. So please watch this video and see how interestingly the video is made, and crystal clearly how the solution is explained by the founder himself. So now again, yeah. So just to summarize, so how Dropbox has showcased its initial product or solution, it's just through a demo video. They are focusing on the problem of file synchronization, and how they have actually reached the customers is by recording a 3-minute video. So the workflow, I mean, again, talking about the user experience. User experience is very important, right? So talking about the user experience, simply the user has to install the Dropbox in whatever the OS is. He has the files and he wants to access the files, and he uploads the respective files and opens the same Dropbox application in another OS, and he confirms that the file is shared. So this is how the founder of Dropbox has actually got the market validation, where he also kept a a request page, like where if you want to have an early bird kind of an access, just drop in your emails, and he got a plenty of tons of mails for him. And this gave him a real confidence in investing his developers, going for investment rounds, and building up a team from scratch. So what are the learnings here? You doesn't need really, you don't need a actual product or a real product. Simply he has done an demo video, but what is important in the demo video is the way he kind of presented the solution, the way he actually kept the user experience very simple and focused on solving the core problem again there. So what he done, he has actually validated that this problem is something the users are facing and they are looking for a solution. So with that, he got a very good, strong market validation, which gave him the confidence to invest in the technology side. And he introduced the referral program, where he kind of actually told, this much data or this MB of data you get free to host or to save in Dropbox. And yeah, again, the learning is he simply created an explanatory video instead of spending thousands of dollars irrationally just by starting a product or hiring a lot of developers. So what we can conclude that is, either in the case of Uber, either in the case of Dropbox, all they did is they built a solution, or they implemented a product only focusing on the core problem. And the most important thing is on focusing on the user experience. So only these two things, both the companies, both the startups are focused in their initial launch. So that is why this kind of strategy or framework that you go to validate your market or to get the user feedback with the minimum possible solution is called MVP, minimal viable product. MVP is important, as we saw in the earlier two cases. So what they have done is, like, they really avoided lengthy and unnecessary work. They kept it very simple, they kept it to the core problem state, and then it also helps them to test an idea. So Uber, Uber in the Dropbox, they had an idea, so they want a validation that my idea works actually. So MVP is the way how they is the way they thought of in testing this idea and getting the user feedback. And in both the cases, they released the product very fastly, and it was very quick to iterate. In fact, I said, like, in the initial MVP there was no credit card payment system integrated, but they launched it, and they were requests for the cabs and all. And in the next versions of the product, Uber has integrated in credit card payments, and they slowly started from one city to another, to expanding to multiple cities and multiple countries. So that is how the MVP helps in improving the product and the core solution that it provides. So in simple words, MVP is all about validated learning about customers with the least amount of effort. This is very important at your beginning. The validation, the user feedback, and with less effort. That is the most important part. So now in the next video, we'll talk about launching your MVP in 72 hours. Thanks.